As a mental health advocate and author, I love books. Books have the capacity to inspire, educate, transform, and ultimately help readers all over the world. So if you want to publish your book or if you need help writing your story, I highly recommend Mindstir Media, rated the #1 best book publisher around the country. Mindstir Media can help you no matter where you are in the book writing or publishing process. Go to mindstirmedia.com to learn more and schedule a consultation.
Out Comes the Sun with Mariel Hemingway and Melissa Yamaguchi. Out Comes the Sun compassionately helps you navigate mental wellness practices that you can apply to your daily life. And we tell your story. And now, Mariel Hemingway and Melissa Yamaguchi.
Welcome, everybody, to Out Comes the Sun Radio. I am here with my co-host, Melissa Yamaguchi. I'm Mariel Hemingway. And today, we have a really great show. We have a really interesting guest. I've been on her show. Her name is Hilary DeCesare. Pretty interesting, but that's not yet. First, we're going to talk. We're going to talk about, I guess I would call it vanity, but it's not, I don't know if it is vanity. Okay, so I'm going to tell you a story.
Spit it out, Mama.
I'm going to tell you about something that happened to me quite recently, like 2 days ago. I went to the gym, and I'm living in Southern California, and it's kind of a famous gym and blah, blah, blah. And as I'm walking back to the car, I see this weird Suburban kind of like slowing down and almost like following me, but I didn't think much of it. And there was a day when people would do that, especially in Hollywood. It was like, and I was younger and I was pretty well known at the time, whatever. And I wasn't really thinking that it was that it was, if you don't know the term, it was paparazzi. I just thought, oh, it's just weird. But I kept looking at it kind of like with a scowl, like, what is that? What's going on? Anyway, I sort of thought maybe that was somebody taking a picture, but then I thought, no, they don't do that with me anymore, right? That's not my thing.
You're mute.
Are you kidding?
No, just now you said that's not my thing.
Oh, I just muted myself by accident.
Well, I think that's a little Freudian, but let's keep going.
No, whatever.
AI, keep going. We'll clean that up.
Okay. So anyway, yesterday, a friend of mine texts me and she says the highlight of an article that says, do you know who this Woody Allen muse is today? Right? Or whatever. And so I look at this picture, the worst picture. I was so depressed and it really screwed my day up. And I'm really embarrassed that I was screwed up by it, but it really, it was like it socked me in the gut. And here's the thing I kind of want to talk about. Like, I feel great right now in my life. I feel that I look better than I've ever looked. Yes, I'm 61, whatever. But when somebody comes along and is taking a weird picture from inside a Suburban, whatever, it was horrible. And it hit me. It really struck me. And I thought, gosh, am I that vain? Am I that shallow that this kind of thing would bother me? But it was like I had hurt feelings, like a lot of old feelings kind of were drummed up in me because I haven't had that kind of, attention in a long time. I spent the last few years in Idaho. So that kind of thing is not going on. And I just wanted to talk about what that feeling is. And if anyone out there, I know, you're probably not, a celebrity that people are taking pictures of, but even when you get a picture that's taken of you, and I think you can relate to this, Melissa, that you don't feel looks like you. You feel that's not
Listen,
a representation of me.
I don't think this is the difference between when it happens to a celebrity and when it happens to the average Jane or Joe is that the exposure is much greater and far and wider reaching because people in Nova Scotia care about a celebrity and they may not care about, Jane Doe on XYZ street. However, the feelings are the same regardless of who you are.
Yeah.
I've had friends post photos on me on their Facebook page, and if you stare at it long enough, you'll swear I've had a lobotomy. Something's wrong. I don't look right. I look like I might have drool, and I always wonder, and it makes me pause and think, why, out of the 45,000 photos that they insisted on taking that night and those selfies, why
Yes.
would they pick the one where they look great and I look like I got run over by a tractor? What's up with that game? So I would call my friends and say, you don't have my permission to post my photo. And it became like a running joke with my buddies, like, oh, you got to get Melissa's permission. And I don't consider myself vain, but I don't dig taking. Am I hallucinating?
No,
Okay.
I don't know what just
I
happened.
I don't dig having my photos taken, and we've talked about this. I'm not, and it's not because, well, let's be honest. There's one thing I don't like the idea. I don't identify with the still shot of me. I don't
Right.
identify with it. But on the second hand, I'll admit, man, I've seen some pictures of me and I think, oh no, what is that? Like that's not what I see when I look in the mirror. That's not how I feel. So
Right.
it does hit you. And in our society, Mariel, we've seen a lot of we've seen a lot of commentary. People can be brutal behind the keyboard, behind their phones, saying really horrific things about people that they'll never have a chance to meet, that they probably would love to meet, but they take a stab at them for whatever their insecurities are. So it's ammunition. And we have to learn, whether it's my friends posting some pathetic photo of me on their social media, or it's some photo that I don't like about me, or it's you being, by the way, I see you enough, not every single day, but I see you enough in person to know that those photos, whatever, were poop. So don't worry about it. So, and I told you don't worry about it because your legs actually look badass in those photos. But so you don't worry. Besides, they don't get the photos. They don't get the money for the beauty.
No,
They
they
just
want
don't.
I guess there, there's this gross sort of attraction to let's just pull somebody down, right?
Tear them apart.
Jamie Lee Curtis is 64. Let's look at her and let's do a really tight show, let's show her wrinkle, whatever. And I get it, but that's obviously probably not how she feels. It's obviously not how I feel. And it makes me realize why it's so challenging, especially for an actor or a celebrity who is aging, to want to do stuff to their face, right? They want to do stuff because they're scared of that. It's a horrible feeling to think, oh, somebody captured me in a way, and like maybe there's some way I can fix my face to make it so that never happens, and the truth is, whatever, if you do your face, then all of a sudden you look like you did your face, and that looks weird.
Well, and it's not just it's not people before a camera only. It's been well documented. Many women have felt slighted in the corporate world because they have aged and not been able to ride up the corporate ladder when their counterparts, their male counterparts, are aging with a little bit of a slack jaw, but they have a beard to cover it up and a little bit of a paunch belly, but they're seen as stately. And if the women have the same aging effect on any level, they're seen as old and tired. And so it's well documented, regardless of where we are. We have a huge disparity on how we treat the people that are aging. And you know what? I'm not happy about photos that are taken of me that I think I look like I'm suffering in pain. Either I look like I've got a pinched nerve somewhere. I need to have a bowel movement, or I've had a lobotomy. Something's going on in these photos. It just doesn't look normal and right. But what I have to keep telling myself is my high school best friend was killed in a car accident by a drunk driver at the age of 17. So wrinkles and all, punch and all, I'm happy to be here. And I know I have to keep reminding myself of that. And because
Yeah.
honestly, it's a thing.
I completely agree. I mean, it is a thing. Like, what are you going to do? And the fact of the matter is, I feel better about myself than I ever have in my life. I actually can say I love myself, which
Yep.
was a very challenging thing for me to be able to do. Anyway, that's kind of the moment we've got here. Now, stay tuned, because next we do have an incredible guest, Hilary. Interesting. Sorry about that, Hilary DeCesare. And she's gonna wow you in a big way. We're gonna do exercises. It's all kind of crazy, but it's coming up. So do not leave. You're listening to Out Comes the Sun Radio with Melissa Yamaguchi and Mariel Hemingway, and stay right where you are. Welcome everybody to Out Comes the Sun Radio. I'm excited about this interview with Hilary DeCesare because I was on her podcast, and she's an extraordinary woman who's really helping people, who's been coaching, I mean, thousands and thousands of people on how to create a better life for themselves within their business, and just taking empowerment to another level. And on her podcast, she talked about ReLaunch, and she asked me, what is my relaunch story? Of course, I sat there kind of stumped for a bit because I'm like,
you did a great job.
You're very kind. But anyway, she is a former Silicon Valley CEO. Hilary is widely recognized for her work in neuropsychology and is on a mission to empower midlife women to experience joy and imagine what is possible, both personally and professionally, with her innovative framework, the 3HQTM. Did I get that correct?
Well, it's trademarked.
So
you can just leave it at 3HQ framework.
The 3HQ framework, which she kept announcing, which I have to say I was incredibly impressed. Like, you're so good at planting seeds throughout your own podcast, and you're just this is a well-seasoned person. So if you're interested in tuning your business, tuning your life, Hilary is the person to go to, because I mean, she has signature courses that are incredible, and you really get to the core of a woman's message and help them to develop that so that they can be their best selves. And for me, that is incredible, because everybody should have the ability to be their best selves, and not everybody gives themselves permission to. And it's kind of like you're there to give them permission. So I love that. So thank you.
Well, thank you for that. And you know what? That's the whole thing. We have grown up in, such a crazy time where, we've been taught from when we were young, glass ceiling, oh, it's so hard. Everything is a struggle, and I have to say it's taught us all. And, I'm including myself right now with my hand in the air, that we have to be on a struggle bus. If we're going to go anywhere, get on the struggle bus, and then, get off when the door opens. And it does not have to be that way. And I think that through 3HQ, and it's a framework that I created, it's
right.
The head, heart, higher self. It allows you to do it, and it allows you to do it easily. And how nice is that?
That's incredible. Can you kind of tell us what the 3HQ really means, like the evolution of IQ to EQ to 3HQ, which really is a beautiful transition, by the way?
Well, it needed to happen because the old way of what we were focused on in the 60s, 70s, and 80s around IQ, your intelligence, your problem solving capabilities, really isn't something that we can focus 100% on right now. And that changed in the 90s to EQ became like the hot topic, and everyone had to be emotionally like connected. And how are you doing it? And there was a lot of people that were trying to silo out, well, no, I'm more of an intellect. Well, no, oh, you're emotional. Or the worst ones were, oh, women are emotional and men are logical. And gender intelligence was actually thankfully grown out of that. And I use gender intelligence a lot in my business and my coaching. And as we move forward, and I have to throw at least a shout out to Sheryl Sandberg, the former COO of Facebook and Meta, because she came up with, and can you believe this? It was 2013, 10 years ago, lean in.
Yeah.
And what was really incredible, whether you are a fan of leaning in or you're not, it really doesn't matter, because here's the thing, she paved the way for change. Yeah. And in some capacity, there were a lot of instances where women leaned in and it blew up in their face. I have an example like that. And there are women that leaned in and it worked out. But again, in today's, it's not a new normal, it's a new different world. We need new and different tools, right? We need, as we are coming into our own, as we are now finally being given the pulpit, as we're finally being given, in so many situations, equality and the ability to literally now share our voices instead of muffling them. 3HQ and the concept of, this head based, and in the head, what I define as the head is you've got your thoughts, whether they're positive or negative. You've got your belief system. And again, it's based around stories, and you've got positive beliefs and negative beliefs. I like to call the negative beliefs bugs. And that's beliefs underground surfacing. And that, again, those bugs show up at the most inopportune time. And then you've got your identity, and that's all in your head. And identity, I always like to look at identity as you've got the identity that you currently are right now. And then you've got like a nesting doll. If you were to unscrew that first one, the first one's always that like high pitch, that it screeches as you unscrew it. It's so tight. And then you get the next one and the next one. Eventually you get to that small one, that inner essence of who you really are. And we shield them. And when you can break that outer core of your identity that you're so profoundly trying to be a part of, like, this is who I am.
Yeah.
And once you start to break that, that's when you can go into your heart. And the heart base is really around, there are emotional blocks, and you got bugs, those beliefs underground that surface emotionally as well. You've got the ability to really hone in on your why. Why are you doing what you're doing? I can't tell you how many men and women I have worked with. And as you said, thousands. It's not an exaggeration when you've been doing this for 23 years, to the point where they didn't even call it coaching before. They called it consulting. I was a consultant doing what I do. But yes, I have done this, and I have seen people go into business and they're like, I'm doing this. I want to sell my business. I want to, sell it for 10X, 20X, 250 million, 2 million, whatever it is, but they don't even know why they're really doing it. And then all of a sudden they may have an exit, and guess what? They're miserable. And so that's where the heart and the head are out of alignment. And so when you can start to work with the head and the heart together, that's when the magic happens. That's when you can tap into that third H of the 3 H's, the higher self. And I love it, Melissa, with what you work with, the energy part of it, because higher self is your energy source. It's where your wise woman hangs out, who so desperately wants to talk to you in your intuition. And it's where your G zone is. Okay. Now you're going to be like, okay.
Oh, you got to expand on that one, Mama.
I know. We're like, hold on. This is a classic program here. I get it. But here's the thing. The G zone is your great zone, but it's also your gratitude zone. And for business women, It is your growth zone. And too many people sit here and say, I want my business to grow. Hilary, my business isn't growing. I'm stalling out. I feel like I'm, on a relaunch roller coaster, up and down revenue, quarter after quarter. I can't get from 6 to 7 to 8 figures. I'm stuck. I'm underwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed, right? I'm sure people are out there like, yes, Hilary's talking to me. But here's the most important part of this whole thing is that when you realize if you want your company to grow, you need to be growing, because your company, your business is a direct reflection of you. So when you are too busy, I'm too busy being busy. I'm too busy with all these things that I'm working on. No priorities, because everything's a priority. That's when you run into trouble and you're not allowing yourself to grow. That's the direct reason your business will stop growing.
Absolutely. Well, I'm telling you, I know a lot of people at one point feel like they'd be willing to sell the business for $2. So they get so frustrated. But you have a unique ability to work with women in their midlife. And it's not that you can't work with all women and all men, but the reason I think that that's an interesting segment of our society is because we oftentimes don't know what to do with ourselves once the children have left the nest, once life has moved into some other fold. And oftentimes I find people not able to identify who they are because they were mom and carpooler and school volunteer or whatever, team captain, whatever they were doing with their family, that the job was a job. But now to slide into that is such a unique, and I want to say you have something where you talk about the secret to personal and business success is the importance of your personal energy. I'd love for you to expand on that.
Oh, and that is so true. It goes back to that nesting doll, right? Yeah. We create as we are moms or wives or, I'm a business person. I recently had a retreat and I asked people to come up with every single label, every mask that they might be wearing. And do you want to know? The smallest amount was somebody was wearing 5 masks. The most was almost 30 different masks. I have my mask of being the mom. I have the mask of being the worker. I've got the mask of being the friend, all these different things. And it truly, I just said, can we just take off the masks right now? Can we just take them off? And I handed everyone an actual mask, a beauty facial mask. And I had everyone take off whatever makeup they had on and we put these masks on. And we all looked at each other, all 22 of us in this room. And I said, this is where we need to start. This is the beginning. Because once we understand where we are at that foundational level, then I can go ahead and help you elevate your energy. And the most important part of 3HQ is a process, because 3HQ actually is a much larger. I mean, I have a course around it. It takes 6 months to take your business through it, but my God, it is life-changing. But in today's world, everyone wants a quick fix, right? We want that silver bullet. Just give me something. Just give me something fast I can work with. So I created a pocket tool and it's called Tune In. The Tune In process is a 4-step process at any place during the day when you're about to go into a new meeting, you're about to write something for social, you're about to go on a podcast, a radio show, a TV show, whatever you're about to do, you can tune in right before and you will get the greatest results from it. So can I take you both through the Tune In process?
I'd love to, because I'd love to. I'd love to tune in.
It's the easiest. So most people, and I say this because, there might be someone out there that, hey, I got it. Well, I'm only going to take you higher. How about that? Where they tune out. It's easier to tune out. It's easier just to be like, oh my God, that's too hard to think about. That's, that's a horrible situation in my life. And I have a podcast as well. And when I first had the podcast come out, it was called the Silver Lined Relaunch. Because after about 150 interviews, it's now called the ReLaunch podcast. But I would ask people like Mariel, I'd say, if you could go back and change something in your past, one of these significant relaunches, would you? And every single person, I'm not kidding, 100% says, I'm not changing a thing. Because we learn, we experience, we grow. The grit, that comes with, the lessons, that the hard times. So let's do tune in to help you understand that this tune in tool can be used no matter what relaunch you're going through. Okay. No matter how tough the time is. And I've lost my dad, my mom, I've had, melanoma, I've had, business partners that have, ended up doing Ponzi schemes and going into federal prison. I mean, some really crazy, crazy things. And tuning in has literally changed the game for myself and clients. So tune in is 4 steps. Step 1, what you do is you think about your biggest challenge. What is the challenge you're facing right now that you want to tune in and elevate yourself? And so you have either a challenge or, well, I'm coming on the show today. I'm like, it's not a challenge. I'm so fired up. I wanted to make sure that I'm tuning in to my intention to impact as many people, to be able to have people take away, tune in, especially the 2 of you. So can you think of, both of you, what's a challenge or what is an intention that you really would like to walk away with right now?
Okay. Do we keep that to ourselves?
If you can share it, 1, both, awesome, whatever it is.
Well, I can be candid. I think that life, as you had mentioned earlier, Hilary, that life is moving so rapidly that I find myself at times incapable of staying on top of everything that's flying towards me. And I didn't play rugby or badminton. So I mean, like I'm trying to catch things as they're flying at me. And I feel as though I don't feel like I'm Wonder Woman, but I always imagine that I'm so capable. And by and large, I am. However, there's that word, Mariel, capable. But by and large, I find that every once in a while something will slip through. And then I find myself going, what in blue blazes just happened? How did I slip off my pedestal, but I had it together. So my intention, my biggest challenge is that as life continues to fly towards me, because no one has pulled the lever, no one's slowing it down for me. I want to tune in to learning how to navigate with grace and with clarity.
Okay, can we just get an amen right now?
And I get an amen.
I think there are so many people right now listening that are like, yeah, I mean, putting the pressures on us that like there's so much coming at us, and when, that we don't have to be perfect, right? That we can navigate through this wild ride that we're all on together. So I'm actually going to merge the 2 of you. You want to give me your own?
Okay. Mine is, I'm a very physical person, and I've been physical my whole life, and athlete and whatever. And I've been challenged a little bit lately. I have a hip issue, and it's challenged me. Like my yoga is not the same, right? So my body's not quite the same, and it's a little frustrating for me. So it's my biggest challenge. Yeah.
Okay. I love that you both have now kind of like, 2 totally different ones. You could see how, Melissa, yours could go into the business world, right? I've got so much going on. And then Mariel, you are, health and frustrated with your body right now because it's not doing what you ultimately want. So that's step 1. We've now identified that. Step 2 is when you change the channel. And Albert Einstein said something so profound. He said, you can't answer a question with the level that it was created. You can't answer that. And it's the conscious level that it was created. You have to elevate yourself. If everything is energy, we've got to go from being stuck, from being frustrated, from being like, I'm not managing, the things of not navigating more than negative avenue, those negative energies. We need to elevate them higher. And for so long, I didn't understand what the heck he was saying until tuning in allowed me to understand, if I'm trying to do anything in my business or life and take it to the next level, I cannot operate. I cannot have those negative thoughts. I cannot have that energy. So second step is change the channel. And the way we change the channel is literally to tune into a song that lights us up, that fires us up. So I need you to think of a song right now.
Oh gosh, I got 5 million.
Yep. Okay, good. A song that when you hear it, you, Melissa, cannot stay at a lower state. You can't be, frustrated, and you can't be trying to figure out, how am I going to navigate this? And I just dropped another ball. You can't. So do you have a song that you can tell me? What's
Well,
the
the very first one that came to mind, and I don't know why, this isn't really my genre, but I'm Walking on Sunshine.
Love that song. Okay, perfect. So that's your song. Mariel, what's your song?
You've Got a Friend by Carole King.
Oh, do you realize that's the second one that has happened today? Another show I was on earlier, she said the same one. Okay, so here's the thing. I want you to very quickly, 20 seconds, this is neuroscience based. We have to have that song in our mind. We take it from our head to our toes and we change our state by listening to it. I want you to turn it up in your head. A lot of people, when they're by themselves, can put it on their phone. They listen. 20 seconds to really embrace the song, but you got to move your body. Okay. So you got that. We're moving it. I'm not seeing enough head moving of the two of you. Come on, get into this. Okay. I'm seeing the smiles. I have the words going out of Melissa's mouth. Yes. Okay. Now we are now tuned into that song. We're ready for step 3. And what I've done so far is step 1 is the head. It's when we are feeling like things aren't working out for us, the challenge, the intentions, all in the head. When we go into step 2 is elevating our energy. That's higher self. Step 3 is about visualization, about feeling when you are having all of your priorities. You are nailing it, Melissa. And when you're down in, downward dog, Mariel, and you are like feeling it, and then you go out into warrior's pose and you're like, wow, that was really good. I don't even know if you do that out of that one, but you're really in alignment. You're really moving. You're really going through this. How would that look, feel? How would you be like? What would that image of you in the future when it's already done? Your body is already healthy. You're already feeling like you're on top of the things that you are prioritizing and what you really want to get done. All right. So then you focus on that image in your mind. And I want you to think, is there a color that is really standing out for you in that image? Is there a color? A color when you see, okay, Melissa, what's the color?
It's yellow. It's yellow. It's happy.
Yellow. Mariel, what's your color?
Blue. It's the blue sky.
Blue. So I want you to 10x the yellow, 10x the blue, intensify it in your image. And now, and again, this is all neuroscience based, what we're doing here. Now, the next part in step 3 is understanding that we're going to take an internal picture that you're going to be able to go back to at any time. An internal picture. And the way we do that is with something called click. You're going to open and close your eyes, taking an internal picture. You're not going to be looking out at the outside world, but we realize the subconscious does not know the difference between the eyes that you see through or the mind's eye. It's one and the same. So this picture that you're taking to your subconscious is all the same as if you're looking at it on your phone. So when I say click, you're going to open and close your eyes, and I'm going to do it 3 times. Click, click, click. All right, that is step number 3. You're literally going to file those into your photo album in your mind, and you have those to come back to. Step 4, the final step, micro action. Micro action. I want you to tune back into your song, Walking on Sunshine. Tune back into Carole King. I want you to literally right now think of something that's going to keep you going towards that visual image in your mind, that micro action, small as can be, that you can do, not tomorrow, because what will kill momentum and tuning in is delay. I need you to do it right away. So Melissa, what can you do right now? Tune back in, turn it up again, have it go through you, this energy, because now you're ready to really answer the question of what is the micro action?
Ask for help.
And who would you ask for help? Who is that person?
The personal assistant that I gave birth to 23 years ago.
God, I love that. Excellent. So you're going to reach out to your kid and you are going to either an email, text, get that one thing moving forward. That's exactly it. Right. And once you do that, you're going to DM me, because accountability is everything.
Okay.
And I hold everybody accountable. So when you're done, you just ping me and you say, bam, I'm done with that. Okay, Mariel, tune back in. And what can you do to really be thinking about that, navigating your body and like having that healthier that healthier alignment of what's going on within you?
It's something I do every day, but I have to add it to other things. So it's kind of a, I guess I have to take responsibility, and Melissa will know what I'm talking about. I have to do the what are those things that Bobby's doing? You know what I'm saying? But I have to take the bull by the horn. I've been waiting for Bobby to kind of make the call. I got to make the call.
Okay. So I want you
to go by the horns.
I want you to think about what that call is. Micro action, not like a ton, but what could you do? You said, I need to just do it, not count on Bobby, count on yourself. And right now, when we're done, before you go on to whatever your next podcast, your next radio show, your next big thing, I want you to take the time, take 30 seconds, text it, do it, whatever it is. Micro actions lead to success. So here's what you're going to do. Every time you come back where you're trying to get your body feeling better, you're trying to get the prioritizations, and you're trying to get, this feeling of like, it's not failing when something, you can't do it all. I want you to tune back into this same song. This is really important. You're not picking a new song for this, but you can pick a new song for other things that you're doing that maybe fall into a different category. And then you can add more pictures to it. Or like if all of a sudden right now, this was going, south, and I wanted to elevate, we're on a Zoom call and we're talking business, and it's like, I can immediately tune into that song in my head, elevate my energy. I just felt my own tingles on my arm, the sense, and elevate myself, which then, because we have these amazing neurons in our body that it's mirroring neurons, I can actually get you to start to mirror my level of energy. Take even this show up a notch.
Hillary, what's one of your songs?
Oh, I Am Woman, Hear Me Roar, Helen Reddy.
Oh, by Helen Reddy?
Oh, God.
Or the one done by George Michael.
Oh,
no? Okay.
And Faith. Love that song too.
Oh, God, that's a good one too.
And Firework. I mean, I got a whole list.
Oh, wow.
And by the way, I did want to share one with you because I thought about this before. There is an amazing song everyone needs to hear, Step Into My Power by Modern Headspace. Step Into My Power by Modern Headspace. I will be using this song tomorrow.
Write that down, Melissa, because
I am. This is better. That's a better name. Mariel and I have a new band we're coming out with called Liquid Jasmine. So this was so much better.
So good. But here's the thing. You can use this. Once you start, it's like that inner size of your brain, and you start to get better and better, faster and faster.
I love it. I love that you share tools. That's what we need. Our audience loves tools.
Exactly. And I could feel it, because when you really do focus on those things, you really aren't just placating you by you asking me that question, but I could really feel the energy. I could feel the energy of that. And I know how the brain works. I know that visualization, all of that stuff. And I know that the mind doesn't differentiate between what is really seen and what you visualize in the mind. So that's powerful.
I love it.
I cannot tell you how incredible it has been. Just let me give you 2 examples in the last week. I had a gal who was a C-suite executive. She got fired from her big company. She, 6 weeks ago, came to me. I got her tuning in like 20 times a day on this. And her big thing was, there's no jobs in tech. They're all taken right now. They're limited. There's nothing. And literally through this process last weekend, she got her dream job.
Love it.
Dream job. And then the other person had never been able to cross the 6-figure in a quarter and was able to do that. So, I mean, we're talking like
powerful.
See something, Hillary, can you add things? Right? I mean, we have tons of, I don't have just one issue.
Yes. And that's the thing. So what I like to do is a song will be towards one of the things you're going for, right? So let's say I'm about to go let's say I'm about to go live. After this, I'm going to go live on my Instagram, the ReLaunch Co, and I'm going to say what an awesome time I had on your show. Okay. Out comes the sun. But I want to tune into that. I want to tune back into your energy.
Yep.
I've had maybe a call in between before I'm doing it, but I want to get back here. I would go back to this song that I have for this. But if I'm going to then create something totally different, like maybe, a course, I would have a new song. And during the process, over a couple days, a week, a month, a quarter, I would have one song that I would keep tuning in for that. Now, a lot of times have a song of the day that I come up with in the morning based on my schedule, because I tune in 25 times a day. I can't tune in enough. I love it. I like bounce. I'm like, woo, here I go again. And so for me, a lot of times now, tomorrow, my song of the day will be Step Into My Power. And I'll use that when I don't have a big one, like trying to get my body healthier or trying to, become more of an organization, like where I'm really prioritizing the things that I really want to get, done. And so you can really use this. And the greatest part is in about 2 weeks, we're coming out with a mini masterclass around this. And people will be able to bite size it and understand how you can leverage this in your personal life. If you're single and trying to bring in, the man or the woman of your life. If you have issues with your children and you're like, God, I'm feeling horrible. If you're about to be an empty nester, there's it's such an amazing tool, literally your pocket tool. It's like having your pocket coach right there. But as you get better and better, it may take 3 or 4 minutes to do it the first time, but
no, get it. It's so good. Hilary, I don't mean to interrupt you, but we're out of time.
Oh, okay.
No, this is fantastic. And I thank you again. I want to reiterate how important it is we have tools. And I'm going to have a whole library of songs. Several of them came popping into mine, and I'm looking forward to it, so that I'm going to be focusing on my biggest challenge that I want to elevate, changing the channel by tuning into a song. Then I'm going to identify a color with it. I'm going to be putting it micro. I like the micro action because I like to micro address issues before they get out of control. I love it.
Color.
Oh yeah, I love it. Embrace the color. And because my downward dog often looks like a face plant, so I'm really happy about the opportunity to change this.
So good. Yes, and thank you, because this is all about really easy tools that literally give it a week, give it a day, and see what will happen. I mean, it's that powerful.
This is so cool. Thank you so much, Hilary. You got to come back.
Oh, I loved it.
Tools.
Thanks, ladies.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Out Comes the Sun with Mariel Hemingway and Melissa Yamaguchi. And Melissa Yamaguchi, that ravishing creature, is going to give you an energy tip. Hey guys, it's me, Melissa Yamaguchi, here to give you an energy tip. And I want to talk to you about pets in your home. My daughter spent the night with a friend recently and was having an allergic reaction. And when I picked her up, brought her to the house, she left the clothing from her friend's home on the laundry room floor. This morning I got up, went down, gathered the clothing, and had tape removing all the hair. And it led me to think about the feng shui of animals in our home and why it's so important that we be cognizant of animals and their place in our home. Now, not everyone wants to have a pet bed in the corner where the animal sleeps. Some people like to have them on their bed. Some people let their animals lie all over the couches and chairs. To each his or her own, most certainly. However, you have to take awareness of the animal's position in your home. In feng shui, and if it is a large animal and it's allowed to overtake certain parts of your home, then it can disrupt the energetic flow. Now that's hard. I have a client that has, I don't know, it looks like one of those Norwegian Viking dogs that's 7'5" if it stood on its hind legs, and he's got hair from here to there. And she will not give up these dogs. This is her 3rd or 4th generation of this dog, and from the people who she purchased them from. This dog's amazing. But the dog his hair has taken over her home. And we've discussed on the feng shui of
managing that. Whatever you bring in your home, whether it's pets, whether it's a lot of plants, anything you bring into the home outside of yourself must be managed as though it's another person, because it's another living thing. So you have to take care of your plants, you have to take care of the animals, you have to manage their existence within your home to keep the balance of feng shui. It's as though you have another child or a child. You have to manage it in the same way. You don't let your children's rooms run amok. You don't let the plants grow all over the place without any trimming and the dead leaves pulled off, or no fertilizing and watering. You have to think of your plants and your children, your children and your pets the same way. Now, so what do you do when you have an animal that sheds and you're not willing to get rid of it? It's your animal. You do what you want. That's right. But when you are bringing people into your home, you have to offer them the option. This is not just feng shui. This is good graces. You have to offer them the option of, hey, don't sit in that chair. That's where Muffin likes to sleep, and she's a white shedding Persian cat. Okay. Note to note. So my daughter had on all black, sat down, and when she got home, literally, little balls of white hair I was pulling off of her clothing. So feng shui with your pets, with your plants, must be given the same consideration that you would an additional person living in your home outside of yourself. That's the tip for the day. Think about it. Don't go anywhere. Please stay close by. Coming up next is Mariel Hemingway with a great tip on health and balance. You're listening to Out Comes the Sun.
Welcome back, everybody, to Out Comes the Sun Radio with Melissa Yamaguchi and Mariel Hemingway. Yes, I am here for a little balance tip. I'm going to talk about sound and sleep, because we talk a lot about sleep. And when I've talked about sleep before, I've talked about, darkening your room. Melissa's talked about, the energy of your room and what you want to have behind you, and keeping it super simple. And sound is an energy all itself, right? There's an energy to sound, and sound affects you, of course. I mean, who hasn't been in that apartment or that hotel room and somebody has a party in the room next to you and is beating drums or doing whatever they're doing or listening to music, and disrupting our sleep is, in my life, I guard my sleep. I am very militant about, I turn off my phone at 8 p.m. at night, and that's it for me, right? I turn off my phone, lights out 9 o'clock, 9:30 at the latest. And sound is a big, important thing. And here's my tip is simple. My tip is going to help you. Go get some silicone ear plugs, right? Not those foam ones. I don't think the foam ones work as well. So I do what they say not to do, and I roll my silicone earplugs and I put them into my ears, because I have used earplugs for so many years. The interesting thing is, because people will say, yeah, but I want to be able to hear if something happens. Now, being a mother, I wore earplugs even when I had babies. And people were like, oh, you can't do that. You have to be able to hear the baby. There was not a time that I didn't wake up before the baby would wake up crying or something. So your intuition, your knowingness is going to wake you up if you need to be awakened. That's my feeling. It's not the earplugs that are going to be a problem. It just might be that you had too much to drink last night. I don't know. But sound is really important. It's important to make sure that you live in a place where you can manage the sound too, so that you don't disrupt sleep and you don't disrupt work and all that stuff. Sound is very big. We kind of ignore it because there is so much sound, but I think it's another important thing, just like, the visuals of your home and light at night, but sound is incredibly important. Actually here in California, where we're living, and I've been in, Idaho for the last couple of years, there is so much sound, and I'm not used to it because, there's helicopters and there's people talking on the street, and there's, there's all this stuff. But at night, thank goodness, thank you, it gets very quiet. So I'm very grateful for that. But yes, pay attention to sound and how it affects you, and buy some earplugs. It can't hurt you. Okay, that's my tip for the day. And what an incredible show. I'm really excited about this. I'm going to have to try that. Tune in to my song and to whatever it is I need to work on.
I'm going to look up the band she recommended. I've got to find out who they are. I'm jealous of their band name because they kind of trumped Liquid Jasmine there a little bit.
No, I think trumps Liquid Jasmine.
Yeah. We got to work on our harmonizing.
Anyway, I'm just going to have to call you up for new ideas about songs, because I'll get stuck on one song. I'll be like, God, I got to think of a new song.
You'll go through all of Carole King's tapestry and you'll be like, there's more music somewhere.
I know. I'm going to go to James Taylor, because
I was going to say, I'm going to just send you artists. Next will be James Taylor. We'll just start rolling down the punch.
You just keep sending.
Crosby, Stills, and Nash. We'll just keep going. You'll have it.
Yeah. I wonder when I grew up. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for listening to Out Comes the Sun Radio. We are always excited to have you here, Melissa Yamaguchi and myself, Mariel Hemingway. And please go to the Mariel Hemingway Foundation.org in case you're interested in donating to the cause of creating a resource navigator so that people can find the help that they need for their mental health challenge. So you could help us out by being a part of that. And we are grateful to you. And we'll see you again very, very, very soon.
Out Comes the Sun has been a production of Evolve Entertainment. Hosts Mariel Hemingway and Melissa Yamaguchi. Executive producer Jeremiah Higgins. And sound engineer and producer Richard Dr. D. Dugan. Thank you for listening.